Let's do this.
Okay. Oh, I dropped a leg.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Robertson Stash. I'm your host, Matt Robertson. You guys know Sean by now.
What's up, guys?
And today we have a real treat for you. We have the one and only Ben Banks, Danger Visual, the mayor of Slab City, president of the Bad Boys Club, live in the flesh here with us. Thanks for being on the show today, man.
It's an honor. My whole life has led up to this moment. Very excited for this.
Yeah,
You
this
are
is
wrong.
a big stepping stone for you. Well, dude, okay. So, you know what I actually would like to do is just note the time here. It's 4:05. Didn't we say, we said 3 o'clock, right? So the fashionably late.
Okay. 6 o'clock.
No, we had planned. We changed our plans.
Extremely fashionably early. We got
Okay.
2 hours.
Maybe
We're
you're
here 2
3
hours early.
Yeah, maybe you're 2 hours.
This is the earliest I've ever been for anything in my whole life.
All right. Well, first of all, something's been burning a hole in my pocket, so I gotta hook you. I made this morning for you, dude.
Oh my god.
This little oneie for the slopes tomorrow.
No way.
Yeah. With my new Dave Strobel Millies on there.
Oh, that's so sick. Dang.
That's actually the first piece that has the new Millie on it.
That's badass, dude. Is this Amber Perps?
Oh, yeah,
I don't know
sure.
the colors.
It is. Maybe if you like that, if that it works for you, that works for me.
Camera. Woo!
Sick.
Bad Boys Club, baby.
So, dude,
Love
okay, well, let's get started with, like, what is the Bad Boys Club and when did that get started? And I am the assistant to the vice president, right? That's my official title?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So how did that get started?
Well, it got started. I was living in Philly with Coyle, and we'd been living together for a while, and we got pretty rowdy back in those days. And Danny White came to visit.
Ethan Windy.
Wah, wah, wah. And I'd gone pretty hard the previous evening at some fine establishments, and I always rolled with a marker and always kind of tagged little shit up. And I remembered, like, I went out the night before and I just started just tagging like Bad Boys Club and just kind of writing it here and there, like at the bar. And, you know, memories got a little hazy. And then I went to the studio and was hanging out with them. And then we were walking back to the house, and there's like the L, and it's like all the supports under the train.
L bar.
Okay, yep. And we were
yeah.
walking back. We went to Crushmore and we're hanging out. We're walking back home. And I got pretty overzealous with the marker, and I tagged every single pole the whole way home with like Bad Boys Club, Bad Boys Club, Bad Boys Club on all of them. And so Danny was in town for a week, and then we raged it pretty hard. And then every place we went, like, we would all just started tagging like Bad Boys Club at all like the bars and weird spots we were hanging out. And it was kind of like a joke, like we were just like fucking around with it. And then we started like using it to like describe, like, you know, the homies at the trade shows. Like, it was kind of like the crew, like the dudes that we always hang out with. And we'd go to shows and be like, Bad Boys roll call, like, who do we got for Bad Boys Club here? And started kind of adding homies to it. And it was pretty much just like a joke.
So Ethan Windy is a founding member.
He was a founding
Really?
father as well.
Okay.
Yeah, it was me and Coyle and Ethan back in those days. Ethan Windy, a.k.a. Danny White, if you don't know.
Danny White.
Yeah, probably 5 or 6 other names as well. You're nobody in this business until you're like 6 different people. I think that's how it works. But
yeah.
So then it was kind of like a joke of like our kind of like party crew at trade shows and stuff. And then it kind of like, I'd drawn some little logos and kind of messed around with some stuff, like not planning to do anything with it. We got hit up Ziggy's wanted me and Coyle to do a show in Miami during Art Basel one year, and it was super short notice. And we were just like, I was like, let's bring in some of the homies. Like, let's make it like the Bad Boys Club show, because it's like, it just turns out that like the Bad Boys were like some of the most talented, creative, kindest, like best people with like the most mixed media art approaches and crazy creativity, and everyone's collabing. And so all of a sudden it was like, this is like a sick art collective. And it kind of was like, had formed itself around that. And then it was like a way just to kind of put everyone together and like get everyone synced up to kind of do this, like make do a themed show.
Yeah.
That was kind of on point. And the theme worked also for Art Basel, because that's it's such like a snooty patooty
not Bad Boys
event
show.
And it's not Bad Boys
alley Bad Boys show.
Back alley. And then everyone's renting mansions and yachts and like doing these really elaborate parties, and we're like literally like smashing bottles in the back alley. Like, so we're kind of doing a different vibe. Absolutely. And then also the thing is like
giving tattoos away for free.
Yeah, like doing all kinds of stuff back there. And then the idea also was that like a lot of the homies, like the Bad Boys, it kind of branched beyond glass, and there were some other mixed media artists that were kind of on the same level we're getting in. Like we got Skinner now and all these other dudes. And so it's kind of like this, it was like the glass blowers are like the Bad Boys of the art world. Like they've been trying to kind of make that entrance, and the art world's been like, no, you guys are like making bongs and doing drugs or whatever. Like, so it's kind of a way to establish ourselves like outside of the art world, and just kind of having this presence of like the Bad Boys of like the art world. And it's not gendered. Ladies are bad boys too. Some of our heaviest hitters are ladies like as well.
Sibel too, right? This is the
bwomp, bwomp, bwomp for Sibel.
Shout out Sibel.
Yeah. And so it's just kind of like it just kind of evolved in this like really badass collective of some of my favorite people, favorite artists. And
so was this last one the third one?
This was the second one.
Oh, second one. Okay.
Yeah. And then there's been like little pop-up stuff, but like the major, like the real deal.
Oh, that's dope. Out in Miami too. That was a great time last year. I was there.
It was wild. Like I'd never thrown a show before that. That was my first thing like I'd ever done. And
a couple of years ago.
Yeah, the first one.
Yeah.
Like so.
Yeah. I was there for that one too.
You were.
Oh.
Yes, sir. But it was. I felt like I was wasting. It was just a great opportunity to like, I was just like, I have so many sick, talented friends, and like, this is such a cool way to put everyone all on this together and make a bigger impact, like in the Basel world, like doing it all collectively. And like it was like, I do my art, whatever. I didn't even care about having my stuff there. It was about like, just kind of like getting the homies all out.
It's a good vibe, cool, dude. It's a good vibe. So and like that happens like early December every year.
Yep.
Right. Around Art Basel.
Yep. Yeah.
So the Bad Boys, and then you got the Bad Boys Do Good. So,
right.
So what is that about? Because I'm really not sure.
Yeah. So the idea behind that is that within Bad Boys Club, most of the artists are like, there are several that could have like functioned in the real world and been normal people, but the majority, including myself, I think having not had that exposure and like kind of access to art, and like being able to really go in whatever direction and be super successful and thrive and survive. And, that just opened up a lot of doors for a lot of people that wouldn't have had these doors open to them. And so now that we're all like on this cool level with our art, the idea is that we can use our kind of like stature, our success, and then pass it forward to like getting other kids that are kind of in different kind of tough places or whatever, and giving them that exposure and kind of helping like open some doors for other people that need that kind of exposure.
So how do you find these people? Like,
what I did is like, I did a lot of research looking into like different nonprofits that are really like kind of dialed in on doing on this kind of mission of like using art to like help trouble.
Well, the Raw Project here in Denver, it's some of the greatest graffiti artists in the world come together to these low income areas where their schools look like jail cells, and they put graffiti all over the walls, and it actually bumps up the overall IQ of the kids.
It's awesome.
Because they ask why, what is this painting here? And they ask, and So doing stuff like that really
that's great.
goes a long way.
Yeah, anything that kind of where you can use art as a tool to like help people or to like bring exposure to art. And then like if kids are just super disenfranchised and like they're just burned out on the world, like they're not connecting with anything. And you know, I think art provides a lot of like connection that these kids just wouldn't connect with anything else. It just kind of is a different channel that kids can really like pour themselves into and do it in like and get results and get like positive results and really get a lot of like great things in their lives that can happen because of that. It's kind of, so there's this organization in New York called Art Start, and they work with kind of at-risk youth, and they have like levels of different stuff they do. Like they'll kind of get kids that are fucking up into like art programs or give them art supplies or throw art shows for them and do stuff to kind of like get these kids that are starting to like, they're just going down the wrong road, and they put some art in front of them and change the lane a little bit. So I love what they do. It's very much connected to what the mission is. And so that's where the money's been going for now. But because like we're not locked into anything. So the idea is that for different events, if we're doing different things, we can kind of contribute to different nonprofits. So it's just kind of like we raise the money and then we can just throw money at different causes. If it's like, if we do like a theme show and maybe it's like prison theme or something, we could like put money towards something that like brings art to like prisons or like, you know, does different things like this. So it's kind of an open idea of what we can do with Bad Boys Do Good.
Art to prisons.
Yeah.
Cool. Prison art is pretty sweet.
It is. Oh, I love it.
Some of the guys do some pretty good.
It's so good.
You've seen it firsthand?
Never firsthand, but on TV, yes, I have. I would love to go to like a themed like prison art gallery showing.
Oh man, yeah. So when I was driving around, I was driving through San Quentin, like Johnny Cash, San Quentin.
Yeah.
And so I stopped in and I was like walking the grounds a little bit, and then it was closed, but it was like the art, like prisoner art gallery and gift shop or something.
You know, while you're here in town, you should go check out the Supermax we have here. El Chapo's there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. People are plotting to get him out right now
as
we speak.
They're already digging
There's
tunnels.
people like digging holes from Mexico to Colorado.
Yeah.
Under the sea. Or maybe not. Maybe you just don't go.
So the place was closed. Like you could peek in the window and see like all this cool like prison art and like boxes and weird like sculpture stuff made out of like toothpicks and it was all sealed up. And I guess they closed it like 5 or 6 years ago. And for like a couple months, I was calling every day to be like, yo, hey, I'm inquiring. And I was making up personas and like credentials and trying to just
Fake
get any kind of access I could get to this stuff. Cause like I wanted to like take it on tour or like kind of do like bring it out and show it and like do something cool with it. But like it was a brick wall. Like
it's like the real Bad Boy collection.
Yeah. Right. And like do something, turn that money into whatever. So, you know.
So Matt tells me you have a bunch of camper vans. How many do you have?
Well, I'm down to one actually, and I'm down to less than one actually because I just found out I just blew up the whole transmission, and so
today,
yeah. Well, I just found out it was blown up. I blew it up like a month ago when I was driving here from Utah, but so I'm like $5,000 that I got to drop on it right now, and I was supposed to go to Austin and do all this other stuff, but I'm gonna be camped out in Denver for a minute. But I bought 3. My first year of traveling, I bought 3 of them and I sold them while I was like living in them and traveling on the road. So yeah, I bought one and it was like a real piece of shit. So I had to sell it like immediately, and then found another one in like New Mexico and went out there and bought that one. And that one was sweet, but it got like 5 miles per gallon. And
it's not electric?
No, not yet, man. I'm waiting on it. I'm just going to buy like
Which one's your favorite?
My current one.
Yeah.
It was until today's incident. No, actually my last one was definitely my favorite, but it's like I can't do the 5 miles per gallon because I'm not going to do the math about how many miles I put on that thing. But yeah, and then I bought a minivan. I was going to like convert it and do this thing, and then I just like bailed on it. So I've bought like 4 different vehicles, and also have a Prius, and I put a mattress and a power inverter in my Prius too, and that's in Vermont. So I got a little
So
fleet.
how many vehicles do you own?
So right now I just have 2.
Okay.
But the idea was to get like to buy vans and have
one
like,
and a half.
Have one, yeah, 1.5 technically. And I was gonna have them like I wanted to have like an East Coast one, a West Coast one, and my idea was have like I wanted to have Wheelestate all over the country. I'm always looking to
put my money in Wheelestate.
I'm always looking to grow my Wheelestate portfolio.
Up in value. Well, if the car's old enough, it starts going up. If it's new, it goes down. If it's old, it goes up.
Yeah, and I made money on the flips. Like when that was like the side hustle was like traveling. I was still working, and I was just like
you should rent them out when you're not using them.
I know people do that.
Flipping camper vans. I like that. I used to flip scooters in Austin. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably a good hustle as well.
Yeah, my friend flipped a handful of RVs.
Damn, Hoobs flipped a scooter in
Honda Ruckus
in South Asia, actually.
Honda Ruckus or what?
No, he like flipped.
Oh, he has brain damage now. No, Hoops, shout out Hoops.
Shout out
you
Hoops.
must not the like 5-time winner of all the glass competitions. If brain damage is what it takes, then give me some fucking brain now. Anywho, okay. So I was gonna say you were talking about San Quentin, exploring that. I know you love to. You're an urban explorer, dude. Like, and I love watching that on your Instagram about going to these abandoned buildings like that. Probably very few people. It looks like a certain type has been there before, and there's like condoms on the walls and spray paint, and like fire pits and like broken shit. But like, tell me about this. Why do you do this? It seems exciting, and
it's very exciting. I like doing sketchy shit. And
that brings me to my next question.
It's awesome, man. Like I've done a ton of it. Philly, when I first got to Philly was like incredible for it because there was so many cool like abandoned factories and like huge buildings and all this cool stuff.
What's some of your favorites that you've been to?
Like in Philly or just I guess
just
anywhere,
like wherever. Yeah. Like abandoned missile silos? Or?
Well, actually, I was in either Lithuania or Latvia, and there was like this crazy, I think it was Latvia, and I heard about this like crazy abandoned Air Force or like military base that had been abandoned for like 50 years, and it was like 4 hours in the middle of nowhere. So like rented a car, me and my brother went out there and into like deep backwoods, like Lithuania, whatever. And then we roll up to it, and there's like, it's like gnarly. It's huge. There's just like monster buildings, and there's like tanks, like old shit everywhere.
Wow.
And so my brother like has never really done this kind of stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, this is sick. Like this is my shit. Like, let's go. and so we start going in. And we're walking in, and then we start to hear like some like explosions and shit, and like some kind of like brr, brr. And I was like, oh, it's probably dudes like playing paintball or like blowing up fireworks or whatever. Like that's pretty common at these kind of spots. And we're kind of like walking through this field, and this dude like runs up and he starts screaming at us in like Lithuania, and he's like, and then we're like, what's up, dude? And then he's like, oh, like you can't be here. Like they're doing live military training. Like there's like grenades and machine gun training and bombs, and like they were like storming through the buildings, like doing drills and like shooting stuff and throwing grenades at stuff when we were like walking around the buildings. And then so like he escorted us
out pretty quick
out of there. Yeah. And then he showed us his like collection. He pulled out this box, and he just had like all these like grenades and like rockets and shit that he like found just like laying around.
Damn. Crazy. Was he selling them?
No, he was just like flexing them. He was just kind of showing them off. So that was like a cool one.
Holy shit.
And then there's been so many crazy ones. Like there's like crazy spots, then there's like crazy like incidents that like happen. But there's been some. Coyle took me to a cool one. Actually, that was like, it was like a physical rehabilitation hospital. And so they had like all these like crazy like torture devices for like stretching your whatever. And then there was like little girls, like legs, like artificial limbs everywhere. And like, it was like this huge, super spooky hospital zone. That was.
So, are you feeling any supernatural vibes when you're at this?
So I'm super anti-suspicious.
You're anti that.
Yeah,
I
don't believe in any. And
I'm a big receptor of it.
I try to freak myself out. Like when I'm traveling, I'll find like abandoned asylums, and I'll go into like the sketchiest tunnels and like turn off my flashlight.
Bring a Ouija board.
Just I'll try to freak myself out. Like I've never seen anything. I wish I had like a good story about like a ghost I saw, but I'm still waiting on it. They haven't revealed themselves to me. But yeah, I love doing it.
So you travel a lot. It sounds like all over the place. What's the farthest spot you've been?
Probably, I don't know what's further, if like Latvia or South Asia. That's
South
probably,
Asia.
yeah. Like a couple of years ago, we went with Coil and Hoobs. We went to Vietnam, Cambodia, and Thailand.
Wow.
And then we basically went with like no schedule. We were just like, we have to get to Bangkok by Christmas, and we can kind of like zigzag and fuck around, and if like, which is the best way to travel, because some spots we're like, oh, this place is going to be awesome. And then we'd get there and be like, this place sucks. Or we could take weird detours, or some places that like we thought we were going to blow through Cambodia and just go to Thailand and just be like there and like blow through Vietnam. We love Vietnam. We like loved Cambodia. We went island hopping and did all kinds of crazy shit. And we spent like tons of time out there and like weird detours. And then
Sounds like everyone's moving to Bangkok right now.
Yeah.
A lot of people are moving to Bangkok. The weed scene's blowing up there.
yeah, I would love to move out there. It's like
you get like a high rise luxury condo for $1,000 a month.
Yeah, it's insane. Like you live like a king out there, dude.
Yeah, you do.
It's so crazy. I remember like we were on the beach in Cambodia one day, and like we're chilling, and then like somebody comes over and she's like, oh, like, can I braid your hair? And then Coil's like, oh yeah, like braid it up, whatever. And then like someone else comes over and she's like, they're like, all these chicks are like, you guys want massages? And we're like, yeah, do it. And then front massages. Someone else comes over and then they're like, oh, like, she's like, I've got these like lobster tails, and we're like, yeah, bring it on. And then like someone's like, we got these like this platter of like all these fruits, and we got this and that. And then like I remember like looking up and like I'm getting a massage, I'm like eating lobster tails. Like there's this crazy spread. We all each have like 5 drinks in front of us, and like it probably costs like $30 each to like get like the king's treatment.
Wow.
Like I had like someone like do my back and like the feet, like full body massages, and it was like that's just like nothing. It's like it's like as much as it is to like go to lunch anywhere.
So I've been getting a lot of emails about this question. I have to ask you, what's with all the hidden dicks in your work? Okay, like everywhere you look, it's like a little dick.
Right. So there's
you flip it this way, it's
this is actually a foundational building block of my entire career.
It's like Disney. That's what was successful for Disney.
Yeah, I would not be what I am without my rich history and lucky stroke of dicks.
Stroke, I like that.
So when I first started doing design stuff, I just moved to Philly, and I wasn't sure if like it was gonna. I was like, there's no way I can make a living like drawing bongs for Instagram. Like that's not a real job.
We had a good run, dude.
Yeah, we did.
When I was, doing my thing before pre-kids.
Yep.
I had a show every week or whatever, a month. Or
so I was
crazy
like,
idea for a cartoon. Or,
yeah. So I was like, there's no way this is like a real thing. And then, so it got even more absurd because I saw this thing on Reddit, and these dudes were like, we have a company called penist.com.
Pianist?
Penist. Penis, like a verb. Like you take your piano. You take your penis, like you've been penist.
Oh, I get it.
Penist.com. And so they did like they do like dick parodies of corporate logos or any logo. So I messaged them immediately. I went to their website and it was like, you can work for us and whatever. And then it was like attached resume here. And instead of a resume, I wrote a cover letter. I was like, I'm like, this is like my true calling. And I'd had a job previously working for this like shitty mom and pop screen print shop and like doing like a lot of like high school sports, cheerleading, wrestling shit. And I was so over it. I was like dealing with soccer moms all day and like fucking the worst people.
You needed to draw some dicks.
Well, so yeah, what I would do, I would hide dicks in like all my graphics that would go on to like high school wrestling shit. Like this was like, so I was down. Like I already knew how to draw a dick. And then so they were like attached resume here, and I just drew a drawing, and it was like a dick that was like fucking a dick that was like sucking another dick's dick, and it was like this absurd thing, and that was my resume. And they hit me back an hour later, and they were like, "You got the job." And so, and then the way the job worked was, they had a Dropbox, and it would like people would pay $25, they would submit a logo. Then I would do a dick parody of the logo and then re-upload it to Dropbox. They would give me $20 and they would keep $5. And So I could like crank dicks like no one's business. Like I was cranking 4 or 5 dicks, 6 dicks an hour. So don't take that out of context.
We're gonna bleep all that out. Be like,
So this is like the real life super bad.
So it was. And so yeah, like I was making shit money in Vermont, like just doing whatever. And then like and all of a sudden I was like making like 120 bucks an hour just drawing dicks and
chalk and cocks.
and I was like, all right, if I can make money like if I can make this kind of money like doing this shit, like maybe I can make money drawing bongs. This is like, and then it kind of like, and then it was great because I was living with Coyle and I was doing a lot of work with like the Crushmore crew and like all these dudes, and things were starting to pick up. And then eventually the dick drawing thing went a little flaccid. It was kind of like a viral sensation that kind of really like they popped off, and then it kind of like, once that dropped off, like I was already starting to go to trade shows and people were coming up like, yo, I heard you like draw dicks. Like, like I heard you like make money drawing dicks.
I never heard that story before, and that was a spoofed question, but like, I can't believe.
Yeah, there's a real story there. And so it turned into like this lore. And then like everyone, like I started getting real work because I'd show everyone like what the work I was doing for them. I'll show you. You can use little clips. You can show it.
Yeah, we'll plug it.
I'll give you.
We'll
the
get
thing.
some B-roll on
But
that.
like so then I started doing it, man. And then like it worked out.
Did you ever see the guy on Instagram who would like draw a dick, but then would like turn into something else?
Yep.
It
I've
was
seen
like
a couple of those. Yeah, like I know what you're
that's
talking
me.
about.
That's you?
So,
It's like, this looks like a dick.
yeah, so that was funny. And then some people were like, they like asked me to like, they heard that story and they'd seen the pictures and they were like, dude, like do this poster for me, but like hide a dick in it. They would like, that would be like my trademark thing. Like they would ask for it. Like,
That's funny.
but yeah, that was a wild one. And then it kind of like transitioned from that into the glass stuff. And then that started really popping off.
I guess that one's going to be yours.
I'm good. I'll match you with this though.
What a transition.
Yeah. So my parents are very proud. They actually loved when I was doing the dick drawing stuff. Like they told all their friends about it. Like they thought it was hilarious, and they've been like super down for all the shit that I've been doing. Like it's been a wild ride, you know, but
Wow.
they've been down.
Didn't know we were going to go that way on the podcast.
What's up with the skate ramp that you got going on? You got some sort of connection with the skate ramp that you bring to shows and you spray paint it?
Yeah. So that's it's called INSTARAMP,
Okay.
and it's shout out INSTARAMP. Bwomp, bwomp, bwomp.
Click the link below.
Bwomp. Yep, they're great. It's my homie George. I met him at a glass thing at Tea Leaf, and Tea Leaf found him
Love
out
Tea
in
Leaf.
Florida. Gabe. Shout out Gabe.
Yep.
Bwomp. And then he did a little demo, and or he had me out there. This was sick. Gabe had me out to do pretty much he just had me out to go hang out at a party and go skydiving. It was like one of the best
you went
trips
skydiving
ever.
with him?
Yeah.
He, like,
Skydiver.
he does like
He does wingsuits. and actually,
wingsuits. Yeah, he's
so
got his own Tea Leaf wingsuit.
he does, and I designed that wingsuit.
Oh,
Actually,
shit.
it's sick. It's like
Nice.
I'll get you a picture of that too. But it was like
Yeah, we'll put that in there.
it looks like a kind of a fighter jet.
Yeah.
Like it's
Squirrel.
pretty cool.
Flying squirrel.
Yeah, it's like a badass.
Do you just do the tandem skydiving?
Yeah, I did, but he goes hard with that thing. And then, so yeah, I did. It was like the one that we went with was like this fighter jet one, but I also designed one that didn't make the cut where it was like a trench coat flasher where it's like a trench coat dude and he's like naked and like he passed on that one. But if there's any wingsuiters watching,
We'll
like,
put that in there. You got the
that
B-roll
design's
of that?
available. But yeah, so I met him there and we were just talking a bunch of shit. And George is the dude that started it, and he was rad. And we just kind of stayed in touch. And he put me on a couple of gigs, and he put me on a gig in Orlando where he like had me out, and then I painted it and stuff. And then when I was doing Bad Boys, it was just like a no-brainer. I was like, come out, it's Miami, you're a Florida boy. He has ramps like all over the country, but so he came out with the ramp, and then I'd met this other dude, Septic, who came to my first show.
I love that dude, actually.
Septic is awesome. Yeah, he's
He
like,
painted the whole outside.
Septic, he's the shit. Yeah,
No, he's
shout
cool,
out
dude.
Septic.
Jean jacket. Love that motherfucker.
Yeah, Septic's badass, and he's
great
a
name.
crazy graffiti writer in Philly.
Yeah.
Like he does these really cool like monsters, and he hits like the sketchiest, craziest spots in Philly. Like this dude like must have wings or something. Like I don't even know how he gets to what he's gnarly. So Septic was in the first show, and then he came out again, and his like dream was to like paint a skate ramp. Like he told me that before. So I was like, I got you, come out. And then George pulled up at the ramp, and George and Septic met and like hit it off, and Septic like crushed it. And it's so rad.
I saw him just like cracking like spray paint.
Yeah,
it's like
he's so crazy.
around.
Like when he paints, and he like the first year he came out, and we had this sketchy setup where it was like he was kind of on a ladder painting this thing that was like a wall that was like over the main door. So people were like walking out, and he puts on like this whole like mask, like this like monster mask and like a whole persona. And like he was like, people would walk out the door, and he was like growling at people and like painting and like wearing this crazy mask. And like, he's so sick. He's just like this like fucking punk monster weirdo dude. And his art's insane. So that was like a dream come true for all three of us. Like George loved it. George was like, that's the sickest anyone's ever painted the ramp. And
so is it kept painted that way right now?
Yeah. So he kept that one going. So
did they use the ramps after?
Oh yeah. Yeah. So he painted it like the night before, and then he finished it like at the party, and then everyone like skated it.
Do you seal it?
No, because it looks cooler when you don't. Like
Yeah.
once, and like that was, we all agreed like, yeah, like let's skate it up, because like once it's all like skidded out and like fucked up, like that's like a whole vibe, you know? So like,
absolutely.
and that was what's cool. Like when I first painted the ramp at Tea Leaf, I did this big skull, and like people were skating the ramp. Like I had a little area I like set up, and I had like tape, like just shit, like blocking off my little zone, because I was painting the ramp while people were skating on it. And so some dude kicked his board out and like smashed my shin. And then like I still have like I had my like laptop bag or backpack or whatever up there. And then like some dude's board like hit my paint, and it just like poured all over my bag and stuff. And then like, so the paint was still super wet when dudes were skating it.
Love that.
And it looked awesome. Like, cause kids were just like power sliding down it and like extra fucking it up, and it looks so good. Like
Skidding out.
yeah, I think it adds a lot of patina to a piece. So nice. It was great. That was a cool activation at the show for sure.
That is sick. That's another element to trade show.
Yeah.
Speaking of trade shows, here's a question I got for you. What's your craziest trade show story that you can remember?
That I can remember, or that I can legally
dipping.
I'll tell you my worst 5 minutes in Vegas.
Like this.
Let's go.
So, I was on, it was like day 4 or 5 for 20 of like some really gnarly Vegas trade show. Like everyone was going extra hard. It was like a real shebang. And so, I was with a bunch of the homies at the bar, and we were going to go to this mansion party, and I had to go drop like a suitcase off or something in Coyle's room. And so I was just like, all right, I'll be back in like 5 minutes. Let me just run up to the Coyle's room, drop my shit off. I'll be right back. And so like I go to run up there, and they're waiting for me. So I get in the elevator, and like when I'm in Vegas, like I don't eat. Like I had no appetite. I just like I'd been like 4 days of like whiskey and nothing, like just whatever. So my guts, they weren't happy guts. And so what happened was something shifted, and then all of a sudden like it all came out right in the elevator.
No.
Bad timing. Because I had 5 minutes to go meet all my friends, and I was like, this is a crisis. Like, this is a situation.
What do you do?
Were you alone?
I was alone because I was like, I'll be right back.
Were there anybody else on the elevator?
Empty elevator.
Okay.
Did you hit the emergency stop?
Like I need the fire department. Like so, like emergency. So I was like, whatever. I just gotta like, I'm gonna go up to Coyle's room. I'm going to take a shower in like 2 seconds. I'm going to go drop my shit off and go meet everyone downstairs. Like I can't even like process this right now. Like I just got to like run. And so get to the floor.
But did you run or did you waddle?
I kind of waddled. Like I definitely did like a waddle run. You can picture it,
Oh, put some B-roll in.
Yeah, I can recreate it. But so then I got to the room, like everything comes off, like shirt, like put all my shit down, take pendant off, and then like throw everything down, jump in the shower, like fastest shower ever. I'm like whatever, and then jump out of the shower, and I'm just like whipping all my shit back on, and I grab my shirt, like pull my shirt on, and I'd put. Coyle had made me a sick pendant that was like a sick, like super custom, like one-off solid monkey head that has like spikes. And I put it right on top of my shirt. So when I whipped my shirt on, like in slow-mo, I saw it like, and it hits the floor and it fucking explodes. And I was like, oh my God, like I just shit my pants and I broke a coil pendant like within like 30 seconds, within like 1 minute. Like that was the worst thing that's ever happened. And then, but it gets worse. And so then I was like, 5 minutes. Yeah. Oh so gosh. We're not to the 5 minute mark yet. So then I have to go, I got to go downstairs. I got to go meet the homies. So I kind of put my shit on and then minus the undergarments, you know? And so I'm like, I can't leave these in Coil's room. Like he'll know. Like, so I gotta destroy the evidence. I gotta get rid of this. So I go out to the hall, and then there's no trash cans until the elevator bay. So I'm just like holding him. I'm like, shit. I just gotta make the run. I just gotta like run the gauntlet right now. And so I make it almost to the elevator bay, and then I hear the elevator, and it's like, ding. and then like I'm like, oh my God. And then there's in my hand, and then these dudes, like I see this dude walk around the corner, and he like owned a bunch of shops or whatever, and it was him and his like 3 buyers, and I just talked to them at my booth. And they're like, "Oh, Danger, what's up, man?" And like they wanted to like hug me.
Why are you so sweaty, man?
Yeah. And so I took him, and I had one hand behind my back like this, and then I was like, "Yeah, what's up, dudes?" And like high fiving, just kind of like bro hugging them. And I was like, "All right, cool." And I kind of like spun around as they walked away, and like so they dipped, and I had to like sneak it by them. And like got to the elevator bay, like throw them in the trash, like hop in the elevator, go meet the homies, and then just fucking took off to the mansion party. And then I pulled it off, but I was just like, it was devastating because this was such a sick pendant. And like, I couldn't tell Coil that story for like years. And he's always like, "Where's that pendant I made you, dude?" And I'm like, "Oh man, I just forgot it." Like, and then I finally, it has a happy ending. There's a happy ending because I finally told Coil, and then he was bummed, but because he's Coil, he's the man, he like made me like an even sicker, even more delicate one that I still have.
Did you tell him you shit your pants?
I did. I told him the all the gory details. And
this is by far the most vulnerable guest we've had.
I'm laying it all out there. You know, my heart is open, you know. So
those kind of moments make us who we are.
That's the worst 5 minutes I've had in Vegas.
Wow.
Wow.
How long ago was that?
Oh boy, that was like
last week. Was that the last show?
That was at Champs like last week. No, that was probably 5 or 6 years ago. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good story.
Yeah. Great story.
Shit, man. Okay, well,
literally.
That was a good story. Yeah. So, anything else you want to add to this podcast or what?
Man.
Do you guys want to talk about like my art at all, or you just want to hear like shit, fart, dick stories? Like,
I mean, so your art is
Wait,
not.
You're an artist.
You don't just draw dicks. Where can people find your work at? Website.
My Instagram, Danger Visual, is the best place to see what I'm up to.
Sweet.
I've been posting more kind of travel adventure stuff on there recently, but I'll throw art up here and there, mix it up a little bit. I do have a website. It's slowly coming together, and there's going to be a merch store on there someday, and
I remember that.
let me teach you guys about Thumb Day. You know, when you got
I was a part of that.
You were. It was, yeah. Absolutely. So me and Matt came up with this thing. It's you know, when you got like these great ideas, these $1 million ideas, and they're definitely going to happen, and you're definitely going to all make millions of dollars from it. And like Thumb Day, it's really going to happen for you.
Thumb Day.
Thumb Day, you're really going to get around to like doing that thing.
But, I remember that, man.
So Thumb Day, no, I actually will get a merch site together. It'll have some cool stuff. I've been working on a lot of cool stuff for it. And shout out Cali Grassroots, bwomp, bwomp, sponsor of the show as well. And
Cali.
I got
Grassroots California.
I can say it again. And also shout out Grass.
Sorry.
Oh wait.
Cut.
Oh wait.
What happened?
I got stoned off that joint. That one had the
Deemsters.
Shout out Grassroots California. Actually, I got some new stuff dropping with them. We're going to be working on a bunch of stuff in the future, some cool products and projects as well. So that's coming down the line. Some Bad Boys merch, some Danger swag, some different things. I got some new shows I'll be doing this next year or two, and
New shows.
Yeah, I'm thinking I may or may not take a year off of Miami and like do something different this year, and then come back to Miami like next year, or the year after. I think I might do something in LA. I might do something in Philly for Parlay, and there's something that I might be doing in Colorado as well. So
Where in Colorado?
Colorado Springs, like a 3-day mega thing. We'll get a ramp. We'll have bottle smashing. We'll get the whole party going.
All right, man. Well, you know what, dude? I appreciate you being on the show. We're about at that time right now. So I'd like to thank the sponsors. I'd like to thank you. Thank you
as well.
We're going to get some B-roll. Thank you, Sean, for making this happen. Let's wrap it up. Okay. Well, I'm Matt.
I'm Sean.
And I'm Danger.
And this is the Robertson Stash. We'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.